Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. Beloved Hallmark star Nikki DeLoach has always been known for her warmth, her emotional openness, and the quiet strength she brings to every role she plays. But over the past year, something deeper has been unfolding behind the scenes, a season of reflection, healing, and renewed faith that has reshaped not just her career, but her entire outlook on life. This has not been a year defined by headlines or dramatic announcements, but by inner transformation, the kind that happens slowly, privately, and powerfully. For Nikki, this past year became a turning point. A pause. A moment to listen to what her heart had been asking for far too long. After years of balancing demanding work schedules, personal responsibilities, and the emotional weight that comes with being constantly visible, she reached a place where she could no longer ignore the need to heal. Not because something was broken beyond repair, but because growth requires honesty, and sometimes that honesty asks us to sit with discomfort. Healing for Nikki did not arrive all at once. It wasn't a single breakthrough or a sudden change. It came in small decisions. Choosing rest when she once chose productivity. Choosing silence when she once felt pressure to explain. Choosing presence over perfection. She has spoken openly about learning to slow down and recognize that worth is not measured by output, applause, or expectations, but by being fully alive in the moment she's in. Faith played a central role in this transformation. Not in a loud or performative way, but as a grounding force that brought clarity when everything felt overwhelming. Nikki has shared that returning to faith wasn't about finding easy answers. It was about learning to trust again, trusting that she didn't have to carry everything on her own, trusting that uncertainty doesn't mean failure, and trusting that healing is allowed to take time. There were moments during this year when she had to confront old fears and emotional patterns she had carried quietly for years. The fear of not doing enough. The fear of letting people down. The fear of losing momentum if she stopped moving forward at full speed. Through prayer, reflection, and honest conversations, she began to see that those fears were never truly protecting her. They were simply keeping her stuck. One of the most powerful lessons Nikki embraced was the idea that healing doesn't erase pain. It transforms how we hold it. Instead of pushing past difficult emotions, she allowed herself to feel them fully. Grief, exhaustion, doubt, gratitude, hope, all of it was welcomed without judgment. That openness created space for deeper peace, even in moments that were still uncertain. This shift has subtly changed how she approaches her work. Acting, once driven by external validation, has become more intentional and meaningful. Nikki has spoken about feeling more connected to her characters, more present on set, and more aligned with projects that reflect her values. Rather than chasing what's next, she has learned to ask whether something feels right, whether it supports the life she is building, not just the career she is maintaining. Her relationship with herself also evolved. Self-compassion became a daily practice instead of an abstract concept. On days when energy was low or doubts crept in, she reminded herself that rest is not weakness, that boundaries are not rejection, that choosing herself does not mean abandoning others. These realizations didn't come easily, but they brought a sense of freedom she hadn't felt in a long time. Faith gave her language for gratitude, even in the middle of challenges. Gratitude for lessons learned the hard way. Gratitude for support that showed up unexpectedly. Gratitude for the reminder that identity is deeper than any role or title. Nikki has reflected on how faith helped her reframe setbacks not as losses, but as redirections, gentle nudges towards something more aligned with who she is becoming. Professionally, this year didn't mark an end. It marked a recalibration. Nikki's love for storytelling remains strong, but her relationship with her work has evolved. She now approaches roles with a renewed sense of intention. Stories matter more when they align with truth, hope, and authenticity. She is drawn to projects that reflect growth, resilience, and emotional depth, qualities she now understands on a more personal level. There is also a renewed sense of purpose that has emerged from this year. Not the pressure-filled kind of purpose that demands constant achievement, but a quieter calling rooted in connection, kindness, and authenticity. Nikki has expressed a desire to use her platform more intentionally, not to present a polished version of life, but a real one. one that acknowledges struggle while still pointing toward hope. This transformation hasn't distanced her from her audience. It has drawn people closer. Fans who have followed her career for years recognize the sincerity in her words and the calm confidence in her presence. There's a sense that she is no longer performing strength, but living it. That authenticity resonates deeply, especially in a world that often values appearance over truth. Throughout this year, Nikki learned that healing is not linear. There were steps forward and moments of hesitation, days of clarity and days of questioning. But faith taught her that progress doesn't require perfection. It only requires willingness. The willingness to keep showing up, to keep trusting, and to keep choosing love over fear. She has also spoken about the importance of community during this time. Trusted friends, family, and spiritual support reminded her that vulnerability is not something to hide. Sharing her journey allowed others to feel less alone in their own struggles, creating a quiet ripple effect of understanding and encouragement. It reminds us that even those we admire struggle, that even the brightest smiles can hide fatigue, and that it's okay to pause, to heal, and to rebuild from a place of honesty. One of the most powerful lessons she has shared is that healing doesn't mean the absence of pain. It means learning how to carry it with grace. Faith doesn't remove hardship. It provides strength to face it. And transformation doesn't happen overnight. It unfolds slowly through consistent, intentional choices. As this transformational year comes into focus, what stands out most is not what Nikki accomplished, but what she released. She released unrealistic expectations. She released the need to control outcomes. She released the belief that her value depended on constant motion. In doing so, she made room for something deeper: peace, clarity, and a renewed sense of self. Looking ahead, Nikki doesn't speak in grand declarations or fixed plans. Instead, she talks about intention, about staying open, about continuing to listen. Faith has taught her that the future doesn't need to be fully mapped out to be meaningful. It simply needs to be met with honesty and trust. This year didn't change who Nikki DeLoach is. It revealed her more fully. The compassion she brings to her roles reflects the compassion she has learned to give herself. The warmth audiences feel on screen mirrors a deeper inner calm that continues to grow. And the faith that guided her through healing remains a steady presence, reminding her that even in uncertainty, she is supported. In a world that often celebrates constant success and visible milestones, Nikki's journey is a quiet reminder that transformation can happen in stillness. That healing is powerful even when it's unseen. And that faith, when embraced sincerely, can turn even the most challenging seasons into chapters of growth, grace, and renewed hope. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.